like at 5:30 in the evening, which makes me think, someone was laying in wait. I've heard somebody say that these people track kids down on Facebook and find them, and I've heard that story. I mean, I don't know, but all I know is she's definitely not anywhere around there. I think somebody's abducted her and took her out of the area.
So Don, Facebook told you this, basically, is what you're saying, right? Facebook said that people watch these kids and they come take them, find them in desolate areas, and come onto private property in a rural area and snatch kids from their own basement when their mom and grandmother are 20 feet away planting flowers outside. This is what you're telling us. Do you realize what you're saying? Like, this is not something to play with. It didn't happen that way if it did happen. And if it did happen, you should be telling us way more because you know it. All of y'all know more. Where, who, how, why, all of that. But you're going to make all these agencies figure it out. If your child is really in danger of child sex trafficking, do you understand? And some people think that you're not as smart as I think you are. Not a genius, but you think you're pretty slick. If this is really happening to your child, all the prayers in the world are not going to save you if you're covering up or withholding information. And I don't care what your faith is. God does not approve of this. Child sex trafficking. Let me enlighten him because I know the viewers already know. Let's talk about this. Father is saying this is what happened to his baby girl right off the bat. He said it. And he said she was gone and he knew it. So let's just talk about child sex trafficking for a minute. And I'm going to read. In complex and frightening times, it's natural that the world seems like a more dangerous place for our children than ever before. Understanding the realities of child sex trafficking will help you to not only keep your own children safe, but to become an effective advocate for the safety of all children and families in your community. Beautiful website, by the way, polarisproject.org. While Don is playing around, this stuff is really happening. Maybe to summer. Why wouldn't you tell everything you thought you knew? Throwing out little hints, talking about Mexico, a small city in Mexico, and all this. This guy he's a piece of work. If this was happening possibly to your son or daughter, what would you do? How would you act? There's a lot of myths here. This is a really good webpage. I'm not going to read it all right now. Um, I just wanted to share a little bit. Um, to highlight the fact that not something to play with, not something you just randomly toss out there. Real. So Dawn woke up thinking Moderna, Moderna, Moderna. This is the city of Moderna in Mexico City. The little park. First thing you kind of see when you check out Moderna, which is off-putting. I was doing some research, and just up the road right here, a place called Katy. And as of one day ago, the Katy Times is reporting human trafficking is still a concern. I thought that was interesting. I can read into that some more soon, but something else I just want to look at. This was in the last 2 weeks. Mexico City. U.S. agrees to create task force to fight human trafficking. So that tells me there's a lot going on in the way of human trafficking in Mexico City, not too far from this place that Don just dreamt about, that almost none of us had even heard about before. Even the vice president has gone down to the area. According to Mexican authorities, minors especially are prey for human traffickers who profit from irregular migration. The other thing that I'm noticing is that although it's in regards to human trafficking, it all is attached to the cartel and drugs. And we know who likes drugs. Sorry, yes, I said it. We do, right? I'm just trying to figure out what are you talking about, Don? You said it. So now we're back at the Katy Times. You can see what their front page looks like. Human trafficking, still a concern in the Katy area. It says, I'm here to tell you that all what's going on in our very own backyards, Tingler said. This is now the second largest revenue generating industry in the nation. We are talking about human trafficking. Unbelievable. The second largest revenue generating industry in the nation. My God. Katy, with the I-10 corridor passing directly through it, has a sex trafficking problem, and residents need to educate themselves on the issue to raise awareness and prevention efforts in the community. They're clearing up the fact that Katy is not the number one location. But regardless, we're not putting it all on you, Katy. But the second largest revenue generating industry in the nation, very profitable. So I'm just browsing here, y'all. It's one of those videos where you watch me brainstorm and you go there with me. It's just very interesting that this is their, you know, front page. And that was as of today, in case you didn't see the date. And this is Moderna, 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 Moderna. Right in Katie's back door. backyard, excuse me. Right there. I don't know, Don, but you know way too much about sex trafficking, man, and sexual abuse and predators and the laws and the ages. You know too much. And I'm inclined to finally believe some of the words coming out your mouth when you said Moderna, Moderna, Moderna. I don't want to butcher the name, but it looks like McCoacan. McCoacan. Pardon me if that is not pronounced correctly, but what is correct is that it's within an hour of Moderna, just an hour away. Keep that in mind. We're still rolling through Mexico City. This one I pronounce Sinaloa, and as we can see, right up the road from Moderna, 22 minutes away. Right up the road here, Sinaloa. Keep it in mind. Help me out here. Tamaulipas. 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 32 minutes away from Moderna. 32 minutes away. Why are all these cities important to me? Because Moderna is here and they are literally surrounding the area. So you could literally go to all these places in Mexico City in 2 hours and 29 minutes. Start right here. It all starts right here in Moderna, Moderna, Moderna. I don't know. He said it was repeating over and over in his mind. I feel like it was 3 times. Moderna, small city in Mexico City. We talked about this before, but we didn't look at the area surrounding Moderna. Not a lot going on in Moderna itself that I can find, and I tried. It doesn't seem like the safest place in the world, that's for sure. Pickpocketing and things like that. Um, but the trafficking is surrounding that city. I mean, everywhere you look. And there's other cities that are on the list. And let me tell you about this list. Just to point out, see the dots? The open circles, I should say. These are all the cities that we just looked into. You guys look how close they are to Moderna. I'm not saying Summer's there, but I'm saying something is. This place means something to them. I don't know if he just chopped it up with people about it in the jailhouse and he knew about it, heard about it. Did his brother tell him about it? I don't know what this is about. But it was too random to ignore, if that makes sense. Very random. Very much could have been just deflection. But it also could have some truth in that lie. Look at all these places surrounding the area he mentioned that are known. The reason why I pull these cities up is because of this. Checking out the travel guide for Mexico City, and I was told specifically do not travel to Colima State, Guerrero State, Michoacan State, Sinaloa State, or Tamaulipas State. I'm gonna call it. Sorry if those are pronounced wrong. I don't know Mexico City well, but what I'm learning right now is there's a lot of crime and kidnapping in that area. A lot of crime and a lot of kidnapping surrounding the place that Don Wells just had to mention to us. And I want to know why. The list is longer for places to reconsider. Mexico City is not that big. I'm sure if I pulled up each of these, I would get just even more blown away. They're all right there. So even if Moderna doesn't mean anything, I feel like the rest of this does. I really, really do. This isn't for COVID. This says crime and kidnapping. Why would you have a dream when you're looking for your daughter, been missing 10 days, and wake up shouting out a name of a city across the water, over borders, that's surrounded by an area that's just crime and kidnapping? I don't know. Do you? I mean, what's the deal? Are we, or I will say we, but of course, you guys know I'm going to stick to my guns until I feel differently. But are we believing that he just threw this out there randomly? Or do we think there's merit? It just blows me away. He's just all too familiar with unfamiliar things, if that makes sense. Something else Don Wells mentioned to us in that Facebook post you heard about earlier, he was all like just devastated by the fact that Mexico doesn't do all these extra checks or something, he said, when they're coming into his country. They don't verify or how people can just get into Mexico with no problem. I'm totally paraphrasing because I don't know exactly how he said it, but that's what he said. So let's just take a look. I'm telling you, he's smarter than we think he is. He doesn't just hear this stuff through the grapevine, he has research. What is required for my child to travel outside of the United States? The United States does not have exit controls or require two-parent consent for a minor to leave the country. If traveling from the United States to Canada, Mexico, or the Caribbean, travelers are also subject to the Western Hemisphere Travel Initiative, WHTI. Under WHTI, countries have different entry and exit requirements for travelers, and in some cases, minors may exit the U.S. without a passport. To learn more about these requirements, including land and sea entry and exit laws for all travelers, review Customs and Border Protection's information about WHTI. Don was right, but how did he know? Why did he know? What most people think they know about child sex trafficking generally involves stories. Young girls and boys being kidnapped by strangers, forced into windowless vans, and then driven to another city or state where they are kept, drugged, and chained in a brothel. While situations like these do exist, they are more of an exception than the rule. The study analyzing press releases and online media reports from over a 9-year period found that fewer than 10% of cases involved kidnapping. The rest were far more complicated, far less Hollywood. The danger of these misconceptions is that while we are on high alert for the windowless vans and teaching our children about stranger danger, we may well be missing out on what's really going on. There is still a tremendous amount to learn about human trafficking in the United States, and far more data and research is needed. But what we do know is a great deal about how victims, particularly young people, are lured into trafficking situations. Traffickers tend to prey on people who are economically or socially vulnerable, such as youth who are living in poverty or on the streets or experiencing physical or sexual abuse or addiction. They pose as a friend, offering to meals, gifts, or just a sympathetic ear. In some cases, traffickers may use another young person to befriend and recruit their victims. This recruitment can happen in public places such as malls or sporting events, as well as online through social media sites or through false advertisements or promises about job opportunities that might appeal to young people, such as modeling or acting. Although runaway and homeless youth are particularly vulnerable, there are also several examples of victims who were groomed and recruited while living at home or even attending school. Using these methods over time, the trafficker is no longer a stranger, but someone the victim knows and even trusts. With this trust in place, traffickers don't need to kidnap their victims. They can convince them to show up willingly. This perceived choice in the beginning often results in feelings of shame, guilt, or self blame for victims and survivors who later try to leave their traffickers. It is also not uncommon for parents and family members to sell children for sex in exchange for money, drugs, or something of value. In these situations, the trafficker is already someone with proximity to the victim and knows enough about the victim to even isolate and manipulate them. Let me read that one more time. Just the bottom, don't worry, just this part. It is also not uncommon for parents and family members to sell children for sex in exchange for money, drugs, or something of value. In these situations, the trafficker is already someone with proximity to the victim and knows enough about the victim to even isolate and manipulate them. Oh, Lord, that's just got Grandma Bly written all over it. Don't get me started. Not right here, not right now. Excellent article. So, Don, what happened now? What you think happened? This? Which part of it? You see, because it's bigger than just somebody takes a kid. There's a lot of moving parts to this whole abduction, human trafficking, sex trafficking, child sex trafficking. There's a lot going on there. But what are you saying? If it's true at all. If it's true, I say you know exactly who, what, when, where, and how. Even if you were at work, your family has told you by now. Period. So what is he saying? He just keeps talking. But what is he saying? We gotta understand this, man. Some of it is hoopla and gibberish. Absolutely. Absolutely. But mixed in there, there's a lot of good information. So I'm wondering, what does he think happened? Somebody preyed on them? Somebody groom her? Or did the parents or family members just sell her for money or drugs? We know that drugs are a thing in the family. Come on, don't be shy. We know this. I mean, I'm sure y'all like money. I see a lot of fundraisers popping up and stuff. I don't know what y'all are doing in that, you know, but this is a possibility in my eyes. And it's a stronger possibility than somebody driving by and just grabbing her. And either way it goes, you can reread it 5 times. It all points you back in the direction of someone close to Summer. And if they're close to Summer, they have to be close to y'all. She was 5. Sorry I said was. I know a lot of people don't want to go there. I'm sorry. That wasn't even intentional, but clearly it's what I feel. And I'm trying to make Dawn spit that shit out, telling us a whole bunch of everything and nothing at the same time. And I know the FBI is picking him apart. I know it. Whether he knows it or not, they are watching you, all of y'all, closely. That's why they haven't left the area, sir. You know how easy it would be for all of those agencies to all go back to their own states and just look for Summer if they thought she was just could be it. Come on, dude. Now's the time to get smart. Stop playing games, talking about dreams and God and all of that. Yes, may He have mercy on your soul, but you need to start talking about something else and make it make sense. Because this right here just points the finger back at you guys, and you said it was trafficking. Somebody got her. Somebody was lying in wait. That it. But the probability, let's say that slower, of this being a total stranger is slim. It's very slim. Still points back to the household, to the family, to the friends, the association, to the bad choices.